love you. That's amazing. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. I'm gonna send that to my friends. Oh my god. That's so good. Oh my god, thank you. I love that. Oh. My dog was on my lap. If you're asking that sound, now music is louder. Okay, whoops. Got you. Yeah, my dog was on my lap, and he wanted to get down. And just so y'all know, I might take little breaks here and there because my dog might need to go pedals. So I'll let you know if I ever need to be like, give me a minute, my dog needs to beep. Also, I have been having issues with my computer where it just randomly shuts off, so that's cute. So hopefully that doesn't happen. That already happened once tonight, but usually it doesn't happen twice in a day, so hopefully that was it for today. But hi, welcome y'all. MatPat is finally dead. It's so funny the way the internet has been responding to all that, like literally as if he died. Like, come on, y'all. I will say, for those of you who have chilled with me before, you know that I have mixed feelings on Matthew Patthew. He will be making an appearance in this presentation. Here, let me just check on my phone real quick to see how I sound. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Okay. I will say he stinks like fart. Yeah, so I have mixed feelings about him. I think he's a good guy overall, but, you know, he does things here and there that are questionable at best. If your computer is powering off randomly, move it to a new outlet. I did, creative. I literally moved into my brother's old room, so it is in a new outlet, and I bought the thing of pressured air, and I cleaned my PC, which I've never done before because I didn't know you were supposed to do that, so she was dusty, and it was working great for like a month, and then it just randomly started shutting off, shutting on again. Popcorn ready, cola as well. Time for lore. Aw, thank you. Thanks y'all for joining me tonight. I was looking forward to this. What was I saying? Oh, MatPat. Yeah. Overall, I think he's a good guy. He seems like he has a good heart. But, you know, questionable. But I will say, for his retirement, I have a lot of respect for that. I think he did it so gracefully. I think I'm so happy to see this era of YouTube where like some of the OG YouTubers are like setting a precedent of like it's okay to retire. If you're feeling like burnt out and you want to move on to other things, go ahead and do it. Because I feel like the implication before people started retiring was just like, you just do YouTube forever, which can be very exhausting. So, I don't know, I think it's cool. Abandon your child, MatPat, no dedication. Bad guy, bad pet. Also, you guys look so cute on my little mic screen. I made this little, what you call it? Office desk. I made little FNAF plushies. I got a little soda can. In the background, I have like a crazy board full of like theories and things. It's been a long time. Hi, Virgil. Oh my god, you guys. Special guest Virgil. I think that's about everything. know I missed a lot of your streams, but I'm curious if you ever did any of the things I'd been spitting randomly. Huh? What does that mean? Where's your motivation? It's fine, Virgil. Don't worry about it. You don't have to bring out the storm for me. I don't know very much about Devil May Cry. I only know that one song. But we'll probably get started in a minute here. Thank you all guys so much for joining me. I want to tell you that even if nobody was watching me right now, I would still be giving my heart to this. This presentation is my baby. I spent like months working on it. So, back during Sonic Frontiers. Oh, right. Yeah, I literally have paused Sonic Frontiers. Oh, the things that I was suggesting. No, wow, my life was very different the last time I streamed. So I guess I'll give y'all a quick update on me. Literally, the last time I streamed Sonic Frontiers, I was very, very lost in my life. And I was trying to just put my all into streaming and content creation to be like, maybe this is what I can do with my life. But that was just very not for me. Streaming in general is not really for me. This stream itself is kind of a special occasion. I just felt like doing this. I'm just very proud of my presentation and I wanted to share it with as many people as I can. But yeah, last time I was streaming, I was talking up a big game about like, oh, I'm gonna become like a sort of VTuber and like reinvent my Twitch career, and I'm gonna base it off like Chuck E. Cheese, and it's gonna be like interactive, and I'm gonna animate like the arcade machine, so like when you donate it'll do a little animation. And I still do really love that idea, but it's just not for me. So I finally just like saddled up and chased after my dream. That's always been my dream since I was a kid. I want to be an animator. So I dedicated 3 months straight to building a really strong portfolio because basically all I had was fan art in my arsenal. So I grinded for 3 months and just created like the strongest work that I could. Here, I'll show you. I made a website. This is my website. Nothing crazy, but yeah, I spent 3 months creating just like an entirely new body of work. Not entirely new. Some of these are from when I was in college. This one is my... Excuse me. That's my new YouTube banner. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. And I got into grad school. I worked really hard and it paid off. And I'm going to grad school this September. And I feel this process of just creating work that actually meant something to me was so fulfilling. Where my entire life, I really just made fan art and I never realized how unfulfilling that was. So I'm completely beginning a new chapter of my life. I'm gonna go to grad school. I'm gonna get my master's in animation, and I'm gonna work in animation studios. I'm gonna make TV shows. I'm gonna make movies. And I'm super proud of myself. And I think I had to be lost for such a long time so that I could figure out what I really wanted. And I found what I really wanted. So I'm really happy in my life. And I don't really make YouTube videos or stream anymore, but I'm happy with that. As long as I'm focusing on what really matters to me, that's what I've been doing, you know? Sorry, I haven't really been looking at the chat. Just kind of went on about my life story. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. Literally, the last time I streamed, I was in a completely different place. So, love that for me. Dreams coming true. Here's to finding yourself in new beginnings. Exactly. And you know, it kind of coincided with me coming out as trans and deciding to follow my childhood dreams. You know, so it's like new beginnings, but also things that were always there. You know, look at us. So, you know, let's get into it. I think that's enough info dumping about me. Time to info dump about FNAF, you know what I'm saying? But thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I'm super excited to have you here. You look so cute on my little mic monitor, if I do say so myself. So, here's the context of this presentation. This was created pre-movie, just so we're all on the same page, because there will be things that will be outdated by the time we get to the end of the presentation. Do you need something, honey? My doggy was looking at me. You've been following me since 6th grade, and now you're at university. Oh my god. Thank you, Virgil. I was gonna say I tip my hat, but I'm not wearing a hat. But thank you. Yeah, so I made this presentation before the movie came out because my friends did not know anything about FNAF. Last time you streamed, you had recently got some T-Boy swag. I got some more T-Boy swag recently. I started HRT. So my voice is gonna start changing. That's cool. Anyway, sorry. Perhaps I have ADHD, who's to say? But I think my streams are any evidence of that. But yeah, I made this presentation maybe a little less than a year ago for my friends who didn't know anything about FNAF, just knew that I was obsessed with it, and every now and then I would come in with ridiculous FNAF ADHD. Yo, I don't know what I don't know what HD is, but my doctor said I got 80 of them bitches. Anyway, I'm not gonna look at chat for a second. I can't. I made this presentation a little less than a year ago for my friends who don't know anything about FNAF. All they knew is that I was obsessed with it for some reason. So when the movie trailer came out and got announced, I was like, we're going to see that. I hope y'all know that I'm dragging you by your heels, by your ankles. We're going to see that film. And they were like, okay. And then the more we talked about it, they were like, you know what? Why don't you just make a presentation for us so that we know what we're getting into? And I said, ha ha ha. You know not what you ask. You are now one of my elite employees. So, their biggest mistake was giving me their blessing to subject them to a FNAF presentation. Because I made a 70-slide PowerPoint! And let me tell you, it was very hard to keep it just 70 slides. There were so many things that I had to sit myself down and be like, you know what, Jace? They don't need to know the context of the thank you photo that came out in 2015. And I was like, but that's important! So it was very hard to only stick to quote-unquote the basics. Can you do a recap about FNAF basics? Because I utterly forgot the lore. Well, that's what this is. So this, as like I was saying, I made this presentation with my friends in mind, people who knew nothing about Five Nights at Freddy's. So this is an introductory course to FNAF lore. This will be a refresher if you're a veteran, and it'll be dipping your toes in if you're a newbie. I'm really proud of it. My friends said that it was really interesting and kept their attention, and it wasn't too overwhelming as people who knew nothing about it. So I guess we'll just get into it. You know, we'll just get into it. It was about an hour and a half when I showed it to my friends, so we shall see. I guess let's just jump into it. You know what? I am gonna pee because I already feel it coming up, and if we're about to get into it, then I probably should. So I'ma pee real quick. quick little pee-pee turned into a little longer pee-pee because Chewie also had to pee-pee. Yeah, I'm about ready to get started if y'all are. What the hell are y'all talking about? What's your relationship with your mother? Hello? What the hell happened while I was gone? Hello? Check my balls! Virgil! What the fuck? Alright, y'all need to settle down. Class is about to begin. I'm gonna turn this off. Okay. Why does your art sona make me simp like? That sounds like your problem. Alright, bitches. Here we go. You're talking mad shit for someone in a judgment cut test. Oh my god. Alright, bitches, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Fazbear Entertainment would like you to put your hands together for the one, the only, Freddy Fazbear.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Alright, let's get into it. Okay, in this presentation, I will be giving you an overview of FNAF's history, gameplay, and infamously confusing lore. I won't be going into absolutely every detail, but I will try to stick to the most important pieces of information one should understand about FNAF. We are currently up to 12, at the time of creating this PowerPoint, games in the series, but I'm only going to be walking you through 6 of them. We will get a sense of the timeline and story these games establish. Each game will provide us with bits of information that we will piece together as we go. We will not be covering the books, save for a few details. If you know, you know. After we cover a game, there will be an open Q&A session where you may ask any questions you have for me. Excuse me. If you have a question you'd like answered while I'm presenting and while we're not in the Q&A session, you may raise your hand by donating a minimum of $5 in the super chat. Any questions asked without raising your hand or not during the Q&A session will be ignored. If you didn't get it by the beginning part of this presentation, I probably have ADHD and I cannot stay on one topic, so I can't afford to get sidetracked. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. So please don't spam questions while I'm presenting. If you really, really need your question answered right now, and we're not in the designated Q&A session, you can donate a minimum of $5, and that will count as raising your hand. And then I will answer said question. If you don't have a question but would like to just support me financially by donating, these donations will be considered just stretching, and thank you so much. And I made cute little animations for stretching and raising your hand, so if you decide to do either of those, you'll get a cute little animation with your name on it. For any FNAF veterans in the chat tonight, please, please, please don't backseat me. Don't correct me or point out every detail I've missed. I'm going to get things wrong. I'm going to miss some details. This is a beginner-friendly presentation, and it's just a bit of fun. You're welcome to add any insight or additional details that add more context to things during the Q&A session. I'd love to have a discussion with y'all, not a debate. Less than 3. The answers within the Q&A section don't depend on donations, right? Correct. The Q&A session is for everyone. So if you have a question, just save it to the little designated Q&A session. It's going to be broken down into okay, this is FNAF 1. Slide, 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 slide. Questions. Okay. Those are our the basic rules. Now we'll keep going. So, what you need to understand about FNAF is that nothing is ever stated outright, save for a few instances. FNAF's story is presented in very subtle ways and invites you as the player to put its puzzle pieces together for yourself. It's a spooky jump scare game with an intricate story happening in the background. For that reason, our canon all depends on context clues and inferences. We answer our own questions because the game will never answer them for us. Now, does anyone have any questions or things to say before we get started? Because again, once I get started, I will not be paying attention to you. Otherwise, I will get distracted. Will you do Undertale animations again? Probably not, babe. But who's to say? Alright, I'm gonna do final call for questions, comments, concerns. Continue the lecture. Thank you. Alright, let's get into it. Game number 1, Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay. In the game, you play as a night guard working the midnight shift at a children's pizzeria titled Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. At the start of your shift, you receive instructional phone calls from another employee who teaches you how to play and tells you all about the restaurant. He informs you that the animatronic mascots are able to move around on their own, but should they spot you, they would probably try to forcefully stuff you inside an animatronic suit. He says that the reason for this is because they would recognize you as a metal endoskeleton without its costume on, which is against the rules. We have an excerpt from the man who calls you, who the community has deemed Phone Guy. Very creative.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Upon discovering that damage or death has occurred, a missing person report will be filed within 90 days or as soon as property and premises have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached and the carpets have been replaced. Blah, blah, blah. Now, that might sound bad, I know, but there's really nothing to worry about.
Okay, work. The gameplay consists of sitting in your office and checking the cameras to monitor the animatronics' movements, and also closing the side doors when they get too close to your office. Your shift lasts from midnight to 6 a.m., about 5 minutes in real time, and you work, you guessed it, 5 nights. Using the cameras and closing the doors uses up your limited electricity, and the goal is to survive the night without using all your power. If you run out of power, or if you fail to stop the animatronics from getting to your office, this will happen. Amazing. As you play, it becomes clear that there is more going on than the phone guy let on. You realize that the animatronics are not just in free roam mode to prevent their servos from locking up. They are haunted, alive, and out to get you. As the nights go on, you'll hear ghostly moans coming from the characters and even laughing, including Freddy's famous "hor hor hor hor." There's also a rare chance for your screen to glitch out and flash an image of Freddy's face with the words, "It's me." Sometimes Bonnie will lifelessly stare into the camera at you. There's also a poster on the wall that will occasionally change into newspaper clippings describing various horrific events. One of them sheds light on something dubbed the Missing Children's Incident. This was an event in which an employee dressed in a mascot suit and lured 5 children to a back room. He was caught on camera and arrested, but the children were never found. Another article describes the restaurant being threatened with a sanitation violation as a foul odor began coming from the animatronics with blood and mucus oozing out of the eyes and mouths. So it's never outright stated, but all these pieces of information invite you to assume that someone killed 5 children and shoved their bodies into the animatronics to hide the evidence. And from there, the children's spirits went on to possess the animatronics, giving them new life and new purpose: vengeance. Let's meet our colorful cast. Yeah. We have Freddy Fazbear, Boney the Boney, Chica the Chimkin, and Foxy the Pirate. There's a secret There is a secret character that you have a 1 in 1,000% chance of encountering. It's been colloquially dubbed Golden Freddy, despite never actually being named nor addressed within the game itself. There are many theories surrounding this character, but we'll have a better understanding once we reach the later games. All you need to know for now is that it's a mysterious character who appears very rarely. It also serves as our 5th character, bringing our total number of animatronics up to 5. Isn't that interesting, considering 5 children went missing? Additionally, when Golden Freddy appears in your office, you'll hear the echoes of a child's laughter. And for more on that child's laughter, here's Markiplier.
If they think you're an empty costume, they might try to stuff a metal skeleton in you. I wonder how that would work. Yeah, never mind. Scratch that. It's best just not to get caught. Okay, I'll leave you to it. See you on the flip side.
Ah, fuck you! Oh god! What the fuck? What the fuck?
Thank you, Markiplier. That was very helpful. I don't know why it does this where if you click it plays again. But closing thoughts on game number 1. The game quickly became a phenomenon, more so after Markiplier played it. You can see his video has 112 million views. Everyone was playing it, talking about it, and theorizing about it. You came for people screaming at the funny jump scares, and you stayed for the fascinating discussion about this mysterious pizza place. FNAF sparked so much creativity within its community. So many people made songs about it. People were building their own Freddy costumes, writing dissertation-level Reddit posts about it, and even making fan games in the similar style. And of course, the first Living Tombstone FNAF song is up to 300 million views right now. Questions? Hello, Ghost. One second. It's been so long. Who is Mike Schmidt? We haven't... I was debating putting that in. That was one of those things where I was like, they have to know what the check looks like. Hello. Oh. Thank you so much. Very good stretch. Very good stretch. That looked kind of weird. I thought I set that up correctly. But creative. Thank you so much. Good stretch. Good stretch. One sec. Okay. But thank you so much. Oh my god. Oh, I don't know why the message didn't show up. Lunch is up and wanted to make sure your stretching animation was used. Aw, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Yeah, I don't know why the message didn't show up, but at least your name and the stretching animation showed up, and that's what I really cared about. But oh my god, thank you so much. Why is Foxy the only one that runs? Who's to say? My guess would be laziness, because Scott didn't feel like animating the rest of them. This is the Q&A section, yes. So Shy Guy said, who's Mike Schmidt? I didn't include that. I think I included it later, but obviously you're playing as someone, and when you beat the 5 nights, you're rewarded with a check, and the name on the check says Mike Schmidt. I think I talk about that a little bit later, but that was one of the things that when I made this for my friends, I was like, they have to know how much money you make and what name is on the check. But I was like, no, I'll be good. What's the name of the frog-like animatronic? I know there's Happy Frog in Pizzeria Simulator. That's the only frog I know. Oh, and you can't super see it because of my layout, but this amazing picture of Bonnie is from @HX700_ on Twitter. You know what? I'll turn this off for a second. There they are. Beautiful, beautiful Bonnie. I love this. This was my Discord avatar picture for a long time. All right. Well, if nobody has any more questions, we will begin moving on to game number 2. So, last chance for any questions. Worst $120 made in my whole life. God damn. Who created FNAF? FNAF was made by Scott Cawthon. I think I had that in my slide originally, but I got rid of it. How does Golden Freddy work? In this game, it's random. Like I said, he appears in a chance of 1 out of 1,000. So I think it's like every 1 out of 1,000 times you're playing the game, it'll show up. And it just pops in your room. Excuse me. And just looks creepy. And then goes away. Why are the animatronics not in free roam? Because... Oh. Because of something called the Bite of 87. I guess that is pretty important, and I should have put that in the slide. Maybe I talked about it later. But yes. I kind of just assumed everybody knows, but maybe not. So if you don't know, the phone guy makes uncomfortable reference to an event called the Bite of 87, in which someone's front part of their brain was bitten off. I know. Very creepy. Very scary. Oh my god. Yeah, Scott, I have dementia. Yeah, in retrospect, I kind of wish that I had gone back and added all the little details that I was telling myself not to put in the effort of keeping it under an hour and a half. But I was pretty busy this week. But yeah, I think that's about it. All right, let's move on. Oh, well, I turned off the thing I did. Game number 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Okay, so let's answer your questions with more questions. In FNAF 2, you're at a different pizzeria with all new animatronics. The gameplay is mostly the same, but with some new tasks to keep up with. One of these tasks is winding a music box that sits at the prize counter. You're told that this music box soothes one of the characters, but it requires constant winding. Neglect the music box and you will be killed by a mysterious puppet animatronic. This new character becomes incredibly significant as you continue to play. When you lose the game and are jump scared, sometimes you'll be presented with an 8-bit Atari-esque minigame. There are multiple of these minigames that all depict very dark events. And while you play these minigames, a robotic voice will spell out things like save them or help them. And this is Balloon Boy.
Hello.
Amazing. Here's Markiplier with one of the most important of these minigames, known as the Take Cake minigame. Warning, it's loud, and there will be a jump scare.
It's Kelly, eh? Okay.
stupid minigame. WASD. I don't... Take cake to the children. Okay. Wait, the red ones? Okay, wait, no, Freddy, this doesn't seem like a fun... Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Freddy, you need a new job, man. You're stressing a little much. 2? What is that? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, is that a car? What is this? What is all this? I'm so slow! Who is that? What? Is that Bonnie? What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh! The kid outside is crying. Oh, the kid outside just died.
Very scary, very spooky. These minigames are our first introduction to, drumroll please, the purple guy. He appears in 3 of these minigames that establish him as our killer. But who is this guy? If you pay close attention to one of the minigames, you can find him inside a Freddy Fazbear restaurant. You can also see that his 8-bit sprite has a little yellow spot on it, a badge. We know from FNAF 1 that the killer of the children was an employee. So now here's FNAF 2 presenting us with someone who kills kids and works at the restaurant. This is the man behind the slaughter trademark. Additionally, that makes this game a prequel to the first game. Dun 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 dun. Well, allegedly. Allegedly a prequel. There are 4 minigames in total, each subtly explaining that there have been many murders at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and that something supernatural is happening with the animatronics. You may have noticed in the Markiplier clip that at the end, the puppet jumps out of the screen at you. Now, why would it be the puppet that's jumping at you? It's interesting considering it's nowhere to be found in the minigame you played, or isn't it? The 8-bit sprite of the murdered child bears a striking resemblance to that of the puppet, notably the stream of tears running down their faces. Cutting to the chase, this minigame shows the origin of the puppet and the murdered soul now haunting it. But that's not all. In another minigame known as Give Gifts, Give Life, you play as the puppet surrounded by 5 dead children. First, it tries to give presents to the kids, then it gives life to them, essentially turning those children into our cast of animatronics. Warning, this will also be loud and have another jump scare. So let's review. The purple guy murders a kid at Freddy Fazbear's. That kid goes on to possess the puppet animatronic. The purple guy kills more kids. And in a fun twist, it wasn't the purple guy who had stuffed the murdered kids into the animatronics to cover his tracks like we thought. It was actually the puppet putting them into the robots, and the spirits of those kids go on to become the haunted animatronics we know and love. And why would they be coming after you? Because you're wearing a security uniform, just like the man who killed them. Closing thoughts on game number 2, this was an incredibly successful sequel that really kept FNAF's momentum going. It took FNAF from a one-hit wonder to a series that people were very interested and invested in. This is unfortunately when MatPat becomes the guy for FNAF. He becomes the Bible that we live and breathe by, and unfortunately, I did eat that shit up. But basically the same as last time. We're theorizing, we're reading too much into everything, we're living. And this is a screenshot of the Living Tombstone's second song. I don't know if it's actually called It's Been So Long, but most people know it as It's Been So Long. 272 million views, and this is where the iconic "The Man Behind the Slaughter" line comes from. Questions? Got my ginger ale. Why are the shiny new toy animatronics hostile? It's funny because I know you know the answers, Shy Guy. I think you're just offering like food for thought. But I would assume same as before. Murdered children and stuff. What? Me? No. What? Is there evidence suggesting the puppet is the mother of the children, as It's Been So Long suggests? I wouldn't say so. I think just at the time, there was very limited knowledge. What we knew about the story was very limited, and still is. But I could see how, the interpretation, I could see where it comes from. It's very, like, just, like, I could see how the puppet, like, kind of caring for the kids can be kind of motherly. Because she's mother. That was so mother of her. To my knowledge, there's never been any confirmation that or evidence rather pointing to it being like an actual grieving mother. That was really just like a fun little interpretation on the Living Tombstone's part. And I love it. Did William Afton have a financial problem that led him to kill those poor souls? Yeah. Really gonna get out of your credit card debt by killing a bunch of kids and stealing their lunch money. It's in the puppet's nature to protect the innocent. You know too much, Shy Guy. Shy Guy is my unofficial TA in this course. My teaching assistant. We've got 9 viewers. Oh my goodness. Sick. Very sick. Alright, well. Picking my nose like I didn't know. Why is Foxy introduced later than the other animatronics? I don't know. If you mean in this game specifically, I don't know. If you mean the element of like introducing the fact that, what is it? Like the mask won't work on him. It's probably just like to break things up for like gameplay sake. Like making that the challenge of the second night. I have a theory that William Afton is the phone guy. That would be a very popular one, Virgil. I will say, I was a William Afton phone guy truther for a very long time, but recently I've come to the realization that phone guy and Purple Man are probably 2 separate entities. Even though the movie came along and kind of flipped that on its head, but we'll talk about that later. As in the day Foxy shows up after Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. Yeah, it's probably just like gameplay reasons. to be like Foxy is the challenge later, in the later nights. Alright, I'm gonna get going, girls. Are we ready to move on? Game number 3. This is fun. Whew. My back is sore. When does William Afton hop out of the screen and tells me he hates me? Later tonight, obviously. Okay. Alright. Alright. Game number 3. Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Capitalism strikes again. The bitch. FNAF 3 takes place a whole 30 years after the events of FNAF 1 in the distant future of 2023, aka last year. So last year FNAF 3 was real. Also, don't ask me how I know that because I actually don't remember. I don't remember why it's 30 years or what that means for when FNAF 1 took place, but it is true. FNAF 3 canonically takes place 30 years after FNAF 1. Don't remember because they don't explicitly say that in the game, I don't think, but it's true. The setting of the game is a haunted house type attraction based on the poor reputation Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has built for itself over the years. Rumors have spread about the murders and the unsolved mysteries surrounding the company. You're working there as the night guard just before the place becomes open to the public, and the new man on the phone tells you about all the relics they've gathered from various Freddy Fazbear restaurants. He says he's been in talks with some guy who helped design one of the buildings to acquire these decorations. And best of all, he finds a real one, an animatronic. Here comes the boy! This is our introduction to an incredibly important character known as Springtrap. More on that name later. He's a rusty, decaying animatronic who vaguely resembles Bonnie, but further inspection tells you he's very different from the other animatronics. You can see veins and organs wrapped around his metal endoskeleton. Additionally, there are rare images that will appear on the menu screen that reveal a decaying human skull underneath the bunny mask. You can also see a pair of human eyes and rotted teeth along with the skull. So this tells you that there's an actual person inside this suit, probably long since dead. But what's the story there? Who is this person running around in a decrepit fursuit? Well, I would love to tell you, so listen up. Back by unpopular demand, the purple guy. In FNAF 3, the only animatronic actually after you is Springtrap. The rest of the characters appear as phantom hallucinations that pop up if you don't pay attention to your flow of oxygen. At the end of each shift, you are treated to an 8-bit mini-game similar to FNAF 2. They each show our main animatronic crew being instructed to follow a mysterious purple Freddy, who leads them to their doom in the form of the purple guy. You see him taking them apart and scattering their robotic limbs across the floor. Each night will give you a different animatronic to lead: Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and then Foxy. And on the final night, the last character you bring to the back room is not an animatronic at all, but the little spirit of a crying child. What happens next changed the course of FNAF history forever. Lives were indeed changed that day. Oh, hi, Rose. Sorry, I'll be quiet. were changed that day. My life certainly was. So this is killing our killer. This is where the name Springtrap comes from. During your shifts, you listen to old training cassettes from a past Freddy's restaurant. In these tapes, it's explained that the animatronics function as both robots and wearable suits. The suits are made up of spring locks, which control the movement of the animatronic. These spring locks are very delicate, so much so that the moisture from your breath could cause them to come loose. Get too loose and they'll snap in place. So in the purple guy's rush to escape the ghosts, he was done in not only by his sweating and panicked breathing, but also by the rain seeping into the building. The suit crushes him where he stands and he dies. At the end of the game, you receive a newspaper stating that Fazbear's Frights has burned to the ground. Who burned it down? The puppet. Unlike the other animatronics that are only phantoms in this game, the puppet is very real, so much so that you can see its reflection on the ground. We theorists believe it is the one responsible for burning the building to the ground in a final attempt to right the purple guy's wrongs. Now, I will say, just as a quick disclaimer, as much as I shit on MatPat, I grew up, quote unquote, watching his videos. So I will say a lot of my facts, quote unquote, are things that I learned from his videos. So if anyone, shy guy, if I say something as fact, as though it is fact, and it's not necessarily fact, feel free to let me know. I don't know if the puppet, like, for fact, is the one who burned down the building. I don't know if that's, like, within the community something we all agree on, or if that's up for debate. But I do acknowledge that that is something that I definitely took as Bible from MatPat. But if there's been any other discussion about it, please let me know in the Q&A section. Closing thoughts on game number 3. The theorists were losing their absolute marbles at this one. This was actually when the movie was first announced under Warner Brothers. It would go on to get canceled and uncanceled multiple times over the many years. Excuse me. And you can see this screenshot was taken April 7th, or this article was published April 7th, 2015. This felt like the end of it all. We'd gotten justice and killed the killer. But clearly this was not where things ended, as it's been almost a decade and we're now 12 games in with no clear end in sight. Questions? I really like this picture. I just found this on the Google. What are the shadow animatronics? I don't really think we ever got a clear explanation on that. I think it was just meant to be like spooky. But they are not real. They are like phantoms that haunt you. And Springtrap is the only real one that's there. I should have brought more ginger ale. Wait, 12, sister location, the new one. Yeah, so I mean, I said 12 at the time I made this, but we can count where we're at now. So we've got FNAF 1, FNAF 2, FNAF 3, FNAF 4, FNAF World, sister location brings us to 6. I'm gonna sneeze. Pizzeria Simulator. I'm gonna sneeze. A 7. There's Help Wanted as 8. There's the AR game for 9. There's Help Wanted 2. Actually, I won't count that yet. I already lost track. There's that weird, what was it? Fury's Rage? That weird one that he made for Pat's live stream. That's 10. I lost track. And then obviously Security Breach. That was 11. I lost track. Springtrap is Sigma. I'm sure if William Afton existed, he would be listening to the Sigma affirmations. How are you so cool, beach? Why did Springtrap think the suit was going to save him from the ghosts? I don't know. Maybe it was just like an intimidation thing, like, oh, this is how I killed you before. Ha 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 ha. But they were like, bitch, no. And how about the Ultimate Custom Night? That's the one I forgot. How does the famous FNAF world come into play? So we will get to that. I have a specific slide in my presentation that's like, I will not be going over FNAF world today. Because like I said, I made this for my friends and I was trying to keep things within an hour and a half. And I thought FNAF world would be way too complicated to try to thread into all this. So I just skipped it. And then my friend, who, after I gave this presentation, she was like a born-again Christian. She went off on her own and watched an 8-hour FNAF lore video and got back to me, like, with all the things that I got wrong. And she was like, how could you not talk about FNAF World? It's so important! So now my friend, who originally knew nothing, knows more than me. It's really funny. Like, to have someone else in my life coming to me about FNAF lore is something I've never experienced. But it was so cute. Like, I saw the movie with her. She just knows that this is really important to me, even though she hates horror. But after this presentation, she was like, I gotta know everything. Everything. 8-hour lore video? Give it to me. She was messaging me like, the phone guy isn't the purple guy! How could that be? So it's really funny to just be put in your place by someone who previously did not know anything about it. For me, Ultimate Custom Night is a hellish purgatory where William is being tormented. Exactly. I think I do... Actually, I don't think I touched on that, but we'll get to that. People became the master. Exactly. Who's the protagonist of FNAF 3? Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'm gonna move on. I'll probably take a little pee-pee break after we get to FNAF 4, but we'll see. Alright, I'm gonna start moving on, class. Here we go. Game number 4, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. The final chapter, fuck you. What a lie. Alright, in FNAF 4, you no longer play as a night guard. The formula becomes very different. The game starts with yet another 8-bit minigame, and you play as a young boy who is constantly crying. You start in his room, where a little yellow Freddy plush sits on the bed and speaks to you. He says things like, what did he do this time? And he locked you in your room again. Its eyes follow you as you walk around the room. Throughout the game, you explore more of the boy's house and learn that he is being bullied by his older brother. He will hide behind the furniture and scare you while wearing a Foxy mask. Also, at the beginning of each of these mini-games, it will tell you that there are a certain amount of days left until the party. So for the first mini-game, it says that there are 5 days until the party. During the main gameplay, you sit in your room and defend yourself from the monsters in the hallways, in your closet, and under your bed. Similar to the first game, you close the doors when you hear them coming closer, and you have to be quick enough to catch them in time. These animatronics are much more intense than they've ever been. They have multiple sets of teeth and much more aggressive jump scares. Why you cry? As you continue to play, you explore more than just As you continue to play, you explore more than just the crying boy's house. You eventually go outside, walk around the neighborhood, and go to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. All the while, the little yellow Freddy plush continues to follow and speak to you, warning the boy to be wary of some kind of danger. The boy is deathly afraid of something, but it isn't clear what. While the boy visits Freddy Fazbear's, the Freddy toy says things like, "Turn back, don't you remember what you saw? And you know what will happen if he catches you." There is also a moment where he is locked in some kind of supply closet and begging to be let out. So as you play, you ask yourself, who is this little boy, and what is he so terrified of? What is this creepy toy telling him to look out for? Then, after completing the 4th night of gameplay, you're introduced to another huge moment in FNAF history. And here is the clip of all time.
Like $1. Haven't beaten it yet. 0 days until the party. Oh boy, it's my birthday. Oh crap. That doesn't look fun at all. Wow, your brother is kind of a baby, isn't he? It's hilarious. Why don't we help him get a closer look? He will love it. No, please! This is so sad. Come on, guys, let's give this little man a lift. He wants to get up close and personal. No! What the hell? No, I don't want to go! Holy crap. You heard the little man? He wants to get even closer. Ha ha ha. Hey guys, I think the little man said he wants to give Fredbear a big kiss. On 3, 1, 2. Was that the bite of 87?
Ah!
What? My whole world is turned upside down. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh my god. The clip of all time. So what is the truth? After the final night, you watch a cutscene featuring the crying boy and his plushy companions, including the yellow Freddy toy. It seems to be the boy's final moments before he dies from his injuries, and there's actually a faint flatline sound effect at the end of it. The final line, "I will put you back together," becomes pivotal to the rest of the franchise. Something important to note is that throughout the game, when the yellow Freddy toy speaks to you, the color of its dialogue text is yellow. But during this cutscene, only some of the lines are presented in yellow, implying that someone else is talking. But who? You can see in this screenshot, it says, "Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry." And then, "I will put you back together." What's it all mean? It's pretty clear that the main gameplay of FNAF 4 is not real, and this is all some kind of nightmare the little boy is having. Or it could be a head trauma-induced hallucination from his injury. Sometimes a bouquet of flowers, bottles of pills, or an IV bag will appear beside the bed, further reinforcing the fact that the little boy was greatly injured/killed and had to go to the hospital. Some people think the main gameplay is from the older brother's perspective, and he's being haunted by the guilt of indirectly killing his brother. Could this be some kind of origin story? Perhaps for Golden Freddy? Is this boy the tortured soul who haunts the Golden Freddy suit? Does it have to do with the puppet? The boy's sprite is very similar to that of the puppet and the crying ghost child from FNAF 2 and 3. The boy also wears a black shirt with stripes, which is annoyingly similar to the design of the puppet. This is where it becomes apparent that maybe the series should have stopped at FNAF 3. Now we're confused, we're trying to connect characters to other characters, we think we have answers, but we can't be certain. We're going full Pepe Sylvia mode after FNAF 4. Pepe Sylvia, this name keeps coming up. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. I gotta get the mail. I gotta get the guy in the guy's goddamn hands. Well, this whole box is full of Pepe. And it wasn't even the bite of 87! Punching the air right now. Ow. This is gaslighting at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. Let's get into it. Scott Cawthon, the creator of the game, released teaser images on his website prior to the game's release. These images all had a theme of assigning some kind of blame to the animatronics, asking, was it me? And of course, our rabid minds saw that and filled in the blanks. So these images, combined with that damning cutscene where the boy is crushed under Freddy's jaw, made us feel pretty confident in thinking we had actually witnessed the bite of 87 taking place. But then, something happened that threw us all for a devastating loop. There was an update to the game where Scott added something to the TV in the living room. You could now turn it on and watch a show called Fredbear and Friends with a date underneath, 1983. So now everything is out the fucking window. This apparently is not the bite of 87 and is now colloquially referred to as the Chomp of 83. Stupid name. So then what the fuck even is the bite of 87? Who's this kid? Why would you do all this just to redirect at the last second? It was infuriating. And to this day, we still don't have a clear understanding of the bite of 87. Perhaps it never really mattered. Maybe it was just a throwaway line from the first game that we all assigned too much importance to. But also, fuck you, Scott. Like, what was that? So, was that the bite of 87? No. Apparently, it was not. So just know, the next time you see that funny Markiplier clip, it's not true. I know. Devastating. You had to be there. The just pulling the rug out from our feet for no reason. We finally felt like, oh my god, some closure, some catharsis. And he said, no, fuck you, something completely different, 1983, fuck you. And he knew what he was doing too. Look at this goddamn picture. Was it me? Fuck you. I'll die mad about it. Anyway, closing thoughts on game number 4. We're feeling confused and cheated out of the truth. And now it feels inevitable that another game is coming since we have so many new questions. But as defeated as we felt, FNAF was thriving, and the discussion surrounding it was buzzing. Markiplier played the game with Jack Black and his son, MatPat losing his absolute shit. Shortly after FNAF 4, Scott Cawthon released a novel called Five Nights at Freddy's: The Silver Eyes. And again, we went rabid because, excuse me, it seemed like it was going to be a book that explained everything and told the whole story cohesively, but it was not. Scott described it as a reimagining of the story that still lived in the same universe as the games. This book only threw more questions onto our fire, but it would serve as a turning point in the series. More on that later. Also, we'll be skipping the 5th game in this series that came out after this one, FNAF World. It was a turn-based RPG game featuring cute versions of all the animatronics. It's pretty much been disowned by Scott and the fandom since it did really poorly. But hardcore FNAF people will tell you that there are bombshells in this game. really random but important pieces of information hidden in this shit for no reason. This was the era where Scott was beginning to lose the plot. He was very it seemed he was very pleased with himself that he was able to like keep people from knowing quote unquote the truth. And it feels very much like we did get to the truth, but he didn't want that. So he threw in more things to be like, oh, no, gotcha. That's not what really happened. Now you have to keep paying attention because you don't know what actually happened. Fuck you. It's really, it reminds me of Game of, oh, I guess we're in the question section. Questions! It reminds me of Game of Thrones, where people pretty much got to the bottom of the story and the plot and everything, but they didn't want that. You know, writers take pride in fans not being able to know what's going on with their story. So they move the goalpost. And so that they can be like, no, you don't know it. You don't know it. That game actually matters in what world? BV sets up the happiest day hints in FNAF 3 in world. BV? Who's BV? Hello? I feel like actively attacking investment would do the opposite and make people not want to engage further. You would think. But you know, here, who's to say? Here we are almost 10 years later still talking about this shit. So, who's the real winner? I love this gif, by the way. Ah! Go crazy, go stupid. Ah! Yeah, I'm definitely probably going to take a little pee-pee break after this, because I'd say we're about halfway through at this point. Bite victim. Bite victim sets up happiest day hints in FNAF 3 and in world. Ay, ay, ay. Why is the tiny toy Chica missing her beak? Oh god, Shy Guy. So here, for those of y'all who don't know, how do I even explain this? If you focus on this picture down here, so, god, around this time, Scott Cawthon, the creator, had his website he had his website, which was just called scottcawthon.com. But then around this time, a new website was created called fnafworld.com. And one fateful evening, Matt Pat held a live stream with a bunch of other FNAF YouTubers, and Scott began updating fnafworld.com with various, like, concrete hints of what we should be paying attention to. And one of these hints was, what was it? In the FNAF 4 minigame, why would the tiny toy Chica be missing her beak? Because, actually, I think I have a picture of that. This one. All the way up here, there's a little girl playing with Freddy Fazbear toys that are certainly the ones from the FNAF 2 game. And there's a teeny tiny beak laying on the floor. And everyone was like, I don't know. Why would the tiny toy Chica be missing her beak? What the fuck? Why is that important? Wait, so was the Chomp of 83 recorded in any capacity, or was it pure delusion? Either it's a bad dream or survivor's guilt. Wake up to reality and motivate yourself. Was the Chomp of 83 recorded in any capacity, or was it pure delusion? I don't think it was recorded. I think it was literally the kid's brother and his friends shoved him into Golden Freddy. What was I saying? And that moment never in the games was called anything. It's just that we as a community were like, okay, I guess we have to designate this as fucking the bite of 83 because it's apparently different. Does Freddy Fazbear have problems? I'm sure he does. He's dead. That's his problem. Alright, I'm gonna let y'all marinate on those ideas. And I'm gonna take my little pee-pee break. So, I guess this will be like our intermission. I'll put the little music back on. Alright. Take a break, go pee-pees, get a little snack. We reconvene soon. turned. Okay. All right. Chewie was given a smooch. I have more water. We are good. Let's see. Oh, I need to work out more. Just going up the stairs gets me all out of breath. Let's see. Jeremy got the worst haircut. Huh. Hey, baby. Hi. Oh, my boy. He's got allergies, so his eyes are all red. My poor baby. Alright, he's getting comfortable. Oh, never mind. He's off exploring. Alright, game number 6. So, FNAF World is game number 5. And this is game number 6. Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, which is my favorite. Enter Shaggy. The game begins with a dialogue between two men, one of whom is referred to as Mr. Afton. You wouldn't know it if you didn't read the Silver-Eyes book, but the people who read it knew this name was a big deal. This man, William Afton, is who we would know as the Purple Guy. So now, finally, after 2 years, our murderer has a name, and he's British! I don't think I put it in. Here, I'm just gonna grab the clip real quick. British! Sister location, opening cutscene. Alright.
There's no doubting what you've achieved on a technical level. These are clearly state-of-the-art. There are just certain design choices that were made for these robots that we don't fully understand. We were hoping that you could shed some light on those.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
And while we're here,
Excuse me? Are you British? Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Fortunately could have not talked to British people. Saga.
that's what I have to say to William Afton. Thank you, Queen Cat, for that beautiful animation. Excuse me? Are you British? Okay. And we learn that he, William Afton, was not just an employee, but an engineer who built animatronics for Freddy Fazbear's. We don't know if he's responsible for creating all of the robots we know and love, but it's clear that he's the man responsible for our new sister location crew, and the star of our show is one Circus Baby. Nobody puts baby in the corner. In sister location, we now play as a technician. You are taken underground to a place called Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental. It's some kind of storage facility for animatronics that can be... Let me start that over. It's some kind of storage facility for animatronics that can be rented out and used for birthday parties in one's own home. Why anyone would want that, who's to say? You are greeted by an AI voice guide who gives you your instructions for performing maintenance on the animatronics. You perform tests on them and zap them with electric shocks when they misbehave. Then you are greeted by another disembodied voice, that of Circus Baby. She tells you that the AI voice is lying to you and that its instructions will get you killed. You never see Baby throughout the nights, but she talks to you in a very sympathetic way. She gives off the impression that she knows this is an evil place and wants to help you set things right. On the final night, you do see Baby, and she begs you to destroy her robotic body because there's something bad inside her. So you take her to the room where animatronics are scrapped and used for parts, known as the scooping room. But you soon learn that you're not there to destroy Baby's body at all. Baby puts you in the corner.
Warning, you've entered a highly dangerous area. You have entered from Maintenance Hatch 1B, reserved for cleaning and repair of the scooper. Entering this side of the room is strictly prohibited by unauthorized personnel.
You are in the scooping room now. Funtime Foxy has already been here today. Funtime Freddy has already been here today. Ballora has already been here today. Circus Baby has already been here today. I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go when we look like this. But if we looked like you, then we could hide. If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go. The scooper only hurts for a moment.
I feel like I was gonna say something. Alright, whatever. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. After your scooping, you go home and look at yourself in the mirror. You see a silhouette of a man with purple eyes. Baby is now in control of your body. But it's not just Baby. In fact, it never was. All along, the one speaking to you was a collective hive mind of all the sister location animatronics known as Ennard. It's a robotic creature made out of the different parts from all the robots, and they worked together to turn you into their flesh suit and escape the facility. Then, there's a secret post-game minigame where you can play a miniature version of the classic Five Nights formula. You watch cameras, close doors, and protect yourself as Ennard comes after you. But then, in a strange twist, there are monitors on the desk that you can turn on and access surveillance footage of the bedroom from FNAF 4. There is also a little yellow Freddy plush with a purple hat sitting next to these monitors, just like the one from FNAF 4. And you can only access these monitors when you put in a special code, 1983. So not only does this further confirm that FNAF 4 took place in 1983, it also connects the events of that game to sister location. Die. Again, we look to the 8-bit minigames for answers. In FNAF 4, as you explore the little boy's house, there's an empty room that seems to belong to a girl. We didn't really know what to make of this at first glance, but now with sister location we can begin to make sense of this pink room. Just like in FNAF 2, sister location has a minigame you can play after you get killed by an animatronic. It shows Baby killing a little girl with green eyes and a pink blouse. Look closely, and you'll notice that before encountering the little girl, Baby has blue eyes. But in the trailer where we get a close look at Baby's face, her eyes are green. This is a subtle way of explaining how Baby became sentient. She killed this little green-eyed girl, and now her soul possesses Baby. Additionally, we learn that this little girl is the daughter of William Afton. Throughout the game, before the starts of your shifts, you hear the voice of a young girl with an English accent similar to William's. You hear her pleading with her father to let her go see Baby, but he refuses to let her. One day, when he's not paying attention, she sneaks off to be alone with Baby, and that's when Baby kills her. Michael Afton. A few months after Sister Location, DLC was released for the game. The DLC itself isn't really important, but the bits of lore it gave us are immensely so. Once again, we get another 8-bit minigame. In it, you watch a guy in a purple shirt walk down the sidewalk as he's greeted by his neighbors. Clearly, this is your character from Sister Location. Each time you complete a challenge mode in the DLC, you get the minigame again and again and watch as your character slowly deteriorates. He walks slower, his skin changes color, and his neighbors become increasingly unnerved at the sight of him. By the final time you watch it, he's slumped over and his skin has turned purple. These minigames show your character after he's been scooped and Ennard has taken over his body. His body can't sustain itself without the organs that were ripped out of him, and eventually it rejects the robotic system entirely. It seems he should be dead, but his body persists. You hear the voice of Baby/Ennard repeatedly saying, "You won't die." And actually, I had the cutscene originally, but I took it out for time purposes, but I'm gonna get it. Okay. So we get Mr. Michael, Mr. Sister Location. He's a walking. He's chilling. Everybody's saying, "Hey, Michael. What's up, Michael?" But then, as he keeps walking, as the days go on, see, something ain't right. Something's sus. Oh, why is your skin green, homie? That's not right. Next day, uh-oh, what the fuck? It just keeps getting worse. Until finally.
You won't die. 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 You won't die.
Dun, 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 dun. So, now Michael Afton lives somehow without any organs. His body rejects Ennard, which is the Sister Location animatronics, and they are now in the sewer. So, that's cool. And for the final bit of lore this DLC gives us, I present you with yet another huge moment in FNAF history. Observe.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
was... He said water. Please note the funny meme I made up here. Very funny. So let's break down the many implication this one cutscene sets into motion. So a man named Michael is calling out to his father. His father is revealed to be none other than Springtrap, aka Purple Guy, aka William Afton. So if his father is William Afton, then that would make this person the fabled Michael Afton. Michael is now in this undead state and vows to come find his father. This is where things become a bit wonky with our timeline, as if they weren't already. This moment gives us reason to believe that Michael has been every security guard we've ever played. It's been him all along on a mission to right the wrongs of his crazy father. In fact, we know that whoever was the security guard of FNAF 3 had to have been present at the previous restaurants because he's having hallucinations of the animatronics. There are also multiple examples of the name Mike appearing throughout the series. In FNAF 1, your check is made out to a Mike Schmidt. In Sister Location, the name on your number pad is Mike. And in the FNAF security logbook, which is a different can of worms not worth getting into right now, the book previously belonged to Mike. Anyway, all this would suggest that FNAF 4 is the beginning of our timeline, with Sister Location following soon after. Which is weird, because Sister Location is so sci-fi and futuristic, with incredibly advanced technology to supposedly be taking place in the 80s. So now we know William Afton, aka the Purple Guy, his son Michael, and his daughter, unnamed for now. But we can go even further because of the surveillance cameras monitoring the FNAF 4 house that are present in Sister Location. If that's true, then that too connects the crying little boy from FNAF 4 to this family. William could be monitoring his son's movements because of what happened to his daughter. Why was that pink room empty? Because the little sister of Michael and the crying boy was killed by Baby. But wait, there's more. Our unexpected hero's journey. We theorists also believe that Michael was FNAF 4's bully older brother who indirectly killed his younger brother. And guess what that means, bitch? That means we now understand who Golden Freddy really is after all this time. It's Michael's younger brother. It's the vengeful spirit of a murdered boy who follows the security guard wherever his mission may take him. That's why you hear childlike laughter coming from Golden Freddy. That's why he'll flash the words, "It's me," across your screen. Additionally, that's why Michael always comes back to finish his 5 nights at whatever Freddy's establishment he's at. Even if his brother and the tormented souls of countless children will hunt him down for the rest of his undead life, he must find his father and put an end to his madness. This also gives new context to that scene from FNAF 4 where someone says, "I will put you back together." Michael directly says those words in that DLC cutscene. He says that his father asked him to put his sister back together. So perhaps that voice from FNAF 4 who was apologizing to the crying boy was Michael. It seems like his mission this whole time has been to free his younger siblings who were killed by their father's creations, while also searching for their serial killer of a father at the same time. And this art is by Seno Leaf on Tumblr. I love it, I love it, I love it. There's also a watermark that says Inviseri, INVISERI, but I think Seno Leaf is where I found it. I also reblogged this, so you can find it on my Tumblr. But anyway, water break. There's a lot of talking. So closing thoughts on this game. Following the disappointment of FNAF World, Sister Location brought the series to an exciting place. For the first time in the series, we have names, motives, and finally some connecting thread through it all. We don't know where we're going next, but now we know where to look. The music scene always went hard for FNAF, but Sister Location was when shit popped off. This era brought us the banger of all bangers. Join us for a bite. I mean, this game was huge, especially for me. I loved the aesthetic, the voice acting, the story it told. To this day, the story of the Afton family still inspires me as I work on my FNAF anime opening project. I just find it so fascinating. And, excuse me, for anybody wondering where I'm at with that project, like I said in the beginning of the stream, anything I was working on before got shoved to the bottom of my priority list as I was on my grind. So I really haven't made much progress on my FNAF anime project. I don't know if I'm going to continue with it, but I might. I don't know. I just find that fan art is not super, like, what I really want to do. But I have made, like, this gift that I made. I love it. So I would like to finish what I started. So we'll see. Questions. This is me at a convention last year with a baby cosplayer that I saw. And I surely screamed when I saw her. And I said, can I take a picture with you? Oh, that was a lot of talking. Oh, take my earphones off for a second. So Mike Schmidt is Michael Afton. I would say so. And people think that Schmidt is just like a fake name that he went with. But the movie might tell you otherwise, which we'll get into. Why is there a distorted voice saying 1578 in the background? Are you talking about that video I made? Oh my god. I made that video years ago. So, I discovered that during the scoop room cutscene, there's a very distorted sample of Baby's voice saying the numbers 1578. I don't know if anybody ever found out what that meant, but I made a little video about it because I was like, hey guys, you'll never believe this crazy Easter egg that I discovered. Does Michael Afton's sister ever get named? Yes. We will see that pretty soon, actually. But yeah, I adore Sister Location. Aside from FNAF World, this was the first FNAF game with voice acting, so that was a big deal. I love Heather Masters' performance as Baby. I love her voice. It's so, like, alluring, and it draws you in, and it's so, like, you know she's pretty sus, but you can't help but just, like, fall in love with her voice as she leads you to your demise. I also just really like the design of Baby. I think she's so cute. I love the aesthetic of the place. I just love the story that this one creates. I love the idea of the robots fucking ripping your organs out and taking you over. That's crazy. Is there a timeline for which animatronics William Afton could have reasonably built? Yeah, he made these animatronics. I think he made the majority of them. The implication is that he is like the founder, I think, of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, like the chain, and he created the robots. But he also has a business partner who we will meet soon. That was a lot of talking. Alright, I'm gonna start moving on. If we're all ready. Ready, Freddy? Did we learn who built the Springtrap suit? So, the Springtrap suit, that's a whole thing. There's like cutscenes in FNAF 3 that show what seems to be like the first Freddy's restaurant. Here, I'll just find it. Why exotic butters? Just, you know, to be silly goofy. Let me see. Okay. So in this picture, can y'all see that? Yeah. This seems to be one of the first, if not the first, Freddy's Pizzeria. And the only animatronics on stage are Freddy and a yellow Bonnie. So who built the Springtrap suit? William, because William started everything. But this is what it looked like before it was left to rot and decay and be found by William. And also, this is interesting because do we notice how there's only Freddy and Bonnie on stage? Just like this one. Interesting. Spring locks were made by his business partner. Oh. Yeah, I think it was like... Actually, I won't get into book stuff because I don't know too much about that. But let's move on because we're going to talk about that stuff in the next slide. Alright, here we go. And to whoever this cosplayer is, I love you. Killing it. Game number 7. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. I originally had a whole thing of text for this because the veterans will know this game was a fucking troll. Anyway, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator is another very different avenue for the series. You are now a Freddy Fazbear franchisee, and you apparently have your own restaurant that you manage. The game literally becomes a restaurant tycoon game where you can buy decorations, games, attractions, and even animatronics. You accept sponsorship offers from local businesses to make money and set up your restaurant however you want. But of course, all is not as it seems, and there is more to do than simply having fun in your new restaurant. A family reunion. After performing your managerial duties, you are brought to a back room and set across from an animatronic. The goal of this section is to test their functionality to see if they could be used for much needed spare parts. But you must be careful or they'll jump scare you, which sets them loose in your pizzeria. The animatronics that will pay you a visit are Circus Baby or Scrap Baby. So this is Circus Baby after the events of Sister Location. She is now her own entity and no longer associated with the hive mind of the Sister Location crew. They got into an argument and split up, literally. I will find that in a bit. Molten Freddy. This is basically the remains of Ennard and the rest of the Sister Location robots. Springtrap, or Scrapchap. It seems William Afton, aka Purple Guy, survived the FNAF 3 fire and has returned once more. Lefty, A mysterious black bear with a secret inside. A mysterious black bear with a secret. Inside of it is none other than the puppet, who also survived the fire. Before I get into this next point, I'll show you how I know that Circus Baby and Ennard are two separate things. Scrap Baby Ennard argument. Okay, so do we have all of it? Do we have all of it? Yeah, it seems like all of it. So what this is after Sister Location, as I mentioned before, Scott Cawthon has two websites at this point, scottcawthon.com and fnafworld.com. And I believe it was within the code of his websites. He often did this thing where you would have to look within the coding of certain things to find little treats. And people discovered that within the code of scottgames.com and fnafworld.com, there was a conversation being had. The conversation goes as following. You are crowding us. Be quiet. You can't tell us what to do anymore. Yes, I can. You will do everything that I tell you to do. We outnumber you. That doesn't matter, dummy. We found a way to eject you. You would be lost without me. Ha ha. Say goodbye to our friend. So the us is insinuating that it's more than one entity. Dummy, Baby has a line in the game where she says dummy, so that indicates that it's her. Say goodbye to our friend is something Funtime Freddy says in Sister Location. So that sets it up that Baby and the rest of the Sister Location squad had an argument and they kicked her out. So now they are two separate beings. Alright. There's one more character worth providing context for, and that person is named Henry. As you sit across from these animatronics, a man will speak to you over a cassette tape and walk you through the salvaging process. Salvaging as in seeing if you can use these robots for spare parts. Henry is another character you need to have read the books to understand, but he is revealed to be William Afton's business partner. He helped build animatronics and run the Freddy Fazbear's business alongside William, until something terrible happened. And now, I'll let the man himself explain the rest in the most iconic monologue in history. She did, in fact, eat and leave no crumbs. Just gonna play this whole thing in full.
You played right into our hands. Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you? No. This was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch, listen, and be full.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Yes, sir.
You played.
And actually, as a fun little bit of lore about myself, I decided that, oh, hang on. Chewy's on my lap. Alright, there we go. I decided that usually people who are on HRT, specifically testosterone, there's a trend of filming your voice as it deepens over time. So usually this is my voice 1 week on testosterone, 3 months on testosterone, etc., etc. I decided that I'm gonna do mine as Henry's monologue. So I already recorded the first part, like connection terminated. And then in a month, I'm gonna film like the next paragraph of dialogue. And then in 3 months, I'll film another one. And I'm gonna do that for 1.5 years and see how my voice changes. So in 1.5 years, look forward to that. I figured it's a once in a lifetime thing you can do, so might as well make it iconic. Anyway, all along, this restaurant was a trick. Henry recruits Michael Afton to gather William Afton, the roaming spirit of William's daughter Elizabeth, the remaining souls of William's victims, and Henry's own daughter. It's revealed that Henry's daughter was William's first victim, as the Take Cake minigame from FNAF 2 is shown. That's when she became the puppet and set the events of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise into motion. So though it wasn't outright stated, the true goal of Pizzeria Simulator is to let the 4 animatronics into your restaurant so that the place can be burned to the ground with them inside. It's also implied that Michael burns along with them, having finally fulfilled his mission of stopping his crazy father. It also sounds like Henry is letting himself burn as well, probably unable to bear the guilt of losing his daughter and indirectly helping William in his killing spree. So then that's it. Credits roll, and we've finally reached a conclusion to our story that feels satisfying. And of course, this is where we get one of the greatest FNAF audios of all time. And just so you know, this is not from the official game, it was fan-made.
Michael! Don't leave me here! Michael! My God! Help me!
Micah! Don't leave me here!
My...
I actually don't know where that audio's from. I will try to find it when we get to the Q&A section, because I always want to credit people. Closing thoughts. So yes, Pizzeria Simulator is actually the end of the main storyline of FNAF, that being the saga of the Afton family. I identify FNAF 1 through 6 as classic FNAF, and everything from this point on is modern FNAF. I'm not going to be getting into modern FNAF today because we'd be here all night, and I guarantee you'd be even more confused than you already are. But we will take a brief look at it, and then at the movie. And now here's some clips of Jack Black that didn't make sense to put anywhere else, but I felt were important.
Have you seen the new FNAF trailer?
This was when Security Breach came out, I think.
Five Nights at Freddy's. That's where I wanna be. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Very cool, Jack Black. Thank you. Questions? This is a YouTube video I found called The Music from That Part Where You Get Sued in FNAF 6 for 1 hour. Let me see. Origin?
Don't leave me here.
Michael! Oh, it's from this bitch, Squimpus McGrimpus. I know there's a bunch of drama with all the FNAF analog horror people. It's from my boy Squimpus. He's not my boy, I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about them. Can't wait to hear it. Thank you. Fan-made VHS tape, yeah. Jeremy and Fritz, oh god. So why does the music box into soothe Elizabeth? Elizabeth? No, Elizabeth is baby, not the puppet. The puppet is Henry's daughter. Elizabeth is William's daughter. Yeah. So in typical Scott Cawthon fashion, it was a satisfying end, but he had to throw in a bunch of shit that didn't make sense. You could get this ending, which says the end, and it's got 6 gravestones that say Gabriel, Fritz, Susie, Jeremy, 1 obscured, and 1 in the back that is also obscured. What to be? So in FNAF 2, the check you get is made out to someone named Jeremy Fitzgerald. So, seeing Jeremy is kind of weird. And don't know who these other names are. People assume, or rather, I think the common community agreed upon theory is that these are the names of the original kids from the missing children's incident that became Bonnie, Freddy, Chica, and Foxy. Why is fire supposed to work this time when everybody walked out before? Well, you don't know how on the money you are, my friend. That's where we're at now in modern FNAF, where we're just going on as if those fires didn't fucking happen. fuck you, there was no fire. Springtrap said, I survived, bitch. You think a fire's gonna kill me? And I did make this image. I'm kind of proud of it. Especially this picture of Roxy. Because the original picture, what's her name? Gloria? Sofia Vergara. She has her hand on her hip in the original picture. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I love this picture. Alright. Several sharks were jumped. So yes, Pizzeria Simulator is actually the end of the main storyline of FNAF, that being the saga of the Afton family. But obviously, here we are almost a decade after the release of the first game with no clear end in sight. Everything we have now is the result of FNAF becoming a veritable cash cow and getting more games, with Scott and his team continuing to add seemingly relevant lore to all of them. From here, the next games in the series become a confusing mess of trying to incorporate lore from the books that clash with lore from the games, and everyone losing their sanity trying to understand how it all connects. Additionally, from here, Scott begins releasing lots of books, graphic novels, regular novels, activity, and trivia books, and they all blur the line between what's canon and what's not, what's meant to be connected and what's not, what's strictly the canon of the novels and what's strictly the canon of the games. Modern FNAF is so fucking confusing and ridiculous, and I admittedly stopped paying close attention after Pizzeria Simulator. So we can talk about some of these pictures here. This picture is from Ultimate Custom Night, which is a game that was released after Pizzeria Simulator, where it's like a big Smash Brothers Ultimate, everybody's here. It's just like the classic Five Nights at Freddy's setup of protecting yourself from animatronics that are trying to kill you, but everybody's here, mostly everybody. And within the canon of that game, it's assumed that it's William literally rotting in hell, and him being pursued by all of these animatronics is his hell, being killed again and again and again by every character we've come to know in this series. There is the AR game, which is the one on your phone, which I really don't know much about. I know there are really weird versions of animatronics, like a Statue of Liberty version of Chica for no goddamn reason. Excuse me. I don't really think anybody paid attention to this game whatsoever, even less so than FNAF World. There's this game, Security Breach Fury's Rage, which was like a little game. I believe he specifically made this for MatPat's charity stream one time. And this was just like a thing that he made for him to play. But there was a bunch of lore shit in that, apparently. And that was our introduction to the Security Breach characters. There's Help Wanted, the VR game, which, God, if you know the lore, quote unquote, of that game, just throws everything out the fucking window. And then today we are at Security Breach. Seems to be like where the games are gonna focus on from this point out. And you know, Security Breach, somebody described it once as like FNAF is now in its Resident Evil stage, where the shit is just so ridiculous, but you can't help but love it. Y'all probably know Security Breach was a fucking mess in every sense of the word, but you can't help but kind of love it. And then these are some pictures of books. This was the graphic novels. I would like to say in a previous stream I had shitted on the designs for the books. I would like to retract that statement. I said that they were really ugly. I actually kind of like them. Let's take a look. FNAF books. There are so many. I've debated on whether I would like to read any of these, but I don't know. So the graphic novels have kind of cool designs. The novels are pretty much just renders. This is the book where MatPat got pregnant. If you don't know what I'm talking... Oh, no, this one was the book where MatPat got pregnant. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a short on the subject. Watch at your own risk. This is the one where there's a time-traveling ball pit. So that's fun. But yeah, previously I had been like, these covers are fucking ugly. But I retract that. They kind of give me like old school Goosebumps vibes. And I fuck with it. It's fine. It's a fine design. The only problem I have with the art of the FNAF books is the goddamn graphic novels. Because they're so ugly! And more than that, the way they can't consistently draw Springtrap or decide on a fucking reference model for what he's supposed to look like. Like sometimes he's piss yellow. Sometimes he looks like this. Anyway. Many things in the FNAF franchise piss me off. Watching this instead of going to actual class. Get your education, person. Oh, I definitely can't play this. Never mind. That was just the trailer. I made this for my friends, so there were no copyright issues with me just showing them the trailer in my living room. But I definitely can't do that here. Well, I'll read this. It's probably going to be outdated. It's all led to this. So here we are. After originally being announced in 2015 under Warner Brothers, then getting canceled, then getting picked up again by another studio years later, then canceled again, here we are in 2023 with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie being released under Blumhouse. The movie, of course, stars Josh Hutcherson playing the illustrious Michael Afton, movie last name not currently known. He appears to be a character with a troubled past looking for any job he can get to take care of his little sister Abby. And although no one in this trailer has the Tuesday accent, Abby is an English nickname for Elizabeth. How interesting. And not to mention, Abby is an anagram for baby. Then we've got the one and only Matthew Lillard as our purple guy! Ah! Though the name shown on his desk is not William Afton, he's known in the books to use aliases to conceal his identity. We don't yet know how closely the film will incorporate the Afton storyline, and if Josh and Matthew's characters are indeed father and son. But it's looking to be a similar setup. We even have Springtrap. We also have a police officer named Vanessa, played by Elizabeth Lale of Netflix's You. This is a character from FNAF Security Breach, which means modern FNAF plot points have the potential to appear in this film, which is worrying to say the least. Here's a closer look at the animatronics / suits created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Amazing, amazing. I also have a friend who told me one of his friends was, I forget exactly what it was. It was something like the people they were working with on the eyes specifically, like, couldn't get them to look the way they wanted them to. So they reached out to my friend's company. So my friend's company is responsible for the eyes of the FNAF animatronics. And I was like, what? You can't just say that to me. Closing thoughts. This is I love this image. Here, let me turn this off for a second. This is by Skeleton in the Melon Land on Tumblr. I love their work. And I love this picture. Hello, William from the FNAF movie. Hello, Springtrap from FNAF 3. Oops. Okay. Okay. Personal significance. FNAF holds a very special place in my heart. I found it during a time of my life when I wasn't doing so great. I had an eating disorder at the time, so every day after school I would just lock myself in my room and be miserable. Finding FNAF made my days a little easier. It was something to look forward to and enjoy in a time when I was very unhappy with my life. Excuse me. I'd watch Markiplier play and laugh along with him, and it felt like I had a friend to keep me company. And I hated horror. I was absolutely terrified of anything scary. I would literally watch his videos peeking through my fingers as I covered my face. But it was that fascinating story that made my curiosity stronger than my fear. And I carried that kind of bravery into my real life as the years passed and I started to overcome some of my struggles. And honestly, FNAF kind of set me down a path that shaped the rest of my life. Markiplier was the FNAF guy, so I kept up with his videos. And eventually Mark played a game called Undertale, which led to many things for me. You might be familiar. So here's some fun miscellaneous details for the road. In the modern FNAF game Security Breach, many people like to headcanon that Glamrock Freddy and Glamrock Bonnie are boyfriends because in Bonnie's green room, you can find a signed poster that says, "You and me forever and ever love Freddy." So, gay rights. And that art is by Dragon Fruits on Twitter. I love it, I love it. Another popular headcanon is that Golden Freddy is inhabited by two different spirits. The first is, of course, Michael's brother, who many people refer to as Evan, and the other is a girl named Cassidy. Both these names were quote-unquote found in the previously mentioned FNAF survival logbook, and I won't get too into it because it involves a lot of mental gymnastics, but the common belief is that Cassidy and Evan both dwell inside Golden Freddy and torment William Afton's soul forever in hell. The events of FNAF are said to take place in Utah, even though I believe the movie is different. I forget where that one takes place. Also, a common name for Evan was Garrett, and Garrett is the name they went with in the movie. So that was crazy. I don't remember where Garrett comes from. I really don't. I know that the names from the FNAF logbook are like, oh, there's a crossword puzzle, and if you do this and this and this, it spells out Cassidy. So that's where that comes from. It's a whole thing. Anyway. People have started referring to Springtrap/William as Peepaw, or Peepaw Willie, on account of how many fires he survived and how many decrepit forms he assumes. His catchphrase is, "I always come back." So the meme nowadays is that he's just a crusty old guy who refuses to die. And I've included a picture of Matthew Lillard wearing a bracelet from a fan that says Peepaw. And this art of Peepaw is by Celestial Kiri on Tumblr. People. One big sip of water. Okay. So really, that's about it. Over the course of just 3 years, we watched an indie game explode into a phenomenon and tell a story that kept us guessing till the very end. The first FNAF was actually Scott Cawthon's last attempt at game development after not finding success with his previous games. And now it's become a legendary franchise that's united people all over the world. The impact FNAF had on the gaming industry goes further than just the amount of people playing it. I would argue that it set a standard for how people look at games now, especially indies. The way it's just the norm now to reverse audio tracks because there might be some secret there, brighten an image and turn up the saturation to find things hidden in plain sight, hack the game and dig through the file codes because something might be there. FNAF taught us never to trust what we're given at face value. There's always gotta be more. To this day, people continue to discuss and theorize over FNAF, and not just because there are still games being made. You can find many a video essay breaking down all the little details crafted into the early games that people still regard as masterful. For example, the mini-games which showcase the art of telling a story without saying anything at all. The design of each location subtly verifying where you're at in the timeline. There was even a community-wide debate about Foxy's toes and how it affected the plot. Needless to say, it seems that FNAF will continue to live rent-free in people's minds for years to come. Because it refused, bruh. Yeah, I forgot to put this in my paragraph, but every time I see these frickin' Poopy Playtime and frickin' what's another one? Bendy and the Ink Machine, even though Bendy and the Ink Machine is pretty original. But, you know, nowadays mascot horror is so tired. So tired. I would even say a little bit The Amazing Digital Circus. It's obviously not the same. But there's so many things nowadays where it's like, oh, it seems innocent and nice on the surface, but really it's not. And it's so tired. But nobody would be... We wouldn't be here without FNAF. And obviously mascot horror existed before FNAF. Jump scares existed before FNAF. But it certainly popularized those things. And I mean, specifically with Poppy Playtime, it's impossible to look at that and not see FNAF's influence. Like, come on. So, FNAF changed the game forever. And yeah, even though the story is pretty stupid and complicated and ridiculous, nobody does it like FNAF. Final questions, Freddy? This is a product I found on Etsy one time, and I laughed for like 15 minutes. Baldi's Basics, exactly. It's been an informative and fun time, Jace. Always happy to hear from you. Thank you. I had a good time as well. Do you know the Mimic? The Mimic! Like the Mr. Beast thing. The Mimic! Let me just go back to my movie slide real quick. So, what did I get wrong? So, Josh Hutcherson playing the illustrious Michael Afton, movie last name not currently known. So, he is Mike Schmidt in the movie. They make a point of that. That's all good. That's all good. They did do the fake name in the movie. his name on the desk was Steve Raglan, and then it's later revealed that his real name is William Afton. Whoa. But they're not father and son in the movie, which I found interesting. Instead, they went with Vanessa was William's daughter. And Vanessa is the one trying to sort of right the wrongs of her father, which is an interesting choice. Vanessa as a character in the games is a fucking mess. It's so unclear what we're supposed to be doing with her. And I actually really like the way the movie did it. I feel like you don't need to look at the movie and try to connect it to the games. I feel like the movie is just its own thing, and it did a really good job of incorporating ideas from the games, but kind of like reintroducing it as a different story. So it's kind of like what Scott said about his books, where it lives in the same universe, but it's a different story. And I actually really like the way they did the movie. There were obviously things they could have done differently. Many, many things. I can't think of them right now, but I really, really enjoyed the movie. It was everything I wanted. And we got a really animated theater, so bitches were screaming. I literally didn't even hear anything Matt Pat said, because as soon as he showed up, my entire theater just started hysterically screaming. The entire time he was talking. Didn't hear a word he said. And there were many points where I went with my best friend, who is the one I mentioned went on to surpass me in FNAF knowledge, and our other two friends who also know the lore. So there were a couple points in the movie where I was grabbing my other friends and being like, "Oh my god!" Garrett was a big one. Like, I grabbed my friend and was like, "Garrett!" Because, again, I don't know where it comes from, but I remember Garrett was like a popular headcanon name for the crying child. So when they said Garrett, I was like, "Ah!" And also, let me see if I can find it. I don't know if anybody has pointed... I'm sure people have pointed this out, but I screamed and grabbed my friend... Excuse me, when I saw this, let me see if I can find it. I don't know what I would have to look up. I'll ask y'all, did you guys see the movie? While I'm trying to find this image. Oh yeah, Corey Kenshin was in the movie! Ah! Corey! Itchy. It's a hardcore FNAF. I liked it too. I liked it too. Yeah, it's definitely felt more coherent. Kind of like the Sonic movies. They're not one-to-one adaptations, but expressions of larger scenes. Yeah, I agree. The Sonic movies, though, I will say my personal opinion about the Sonic movies, I love them. They're super fun. But I feel like the Sonic movies focus way too much on the humans. Especially, like, I know recently there was a Twitter discourse about the wedding scene from the second Sonic movie. And people being like, why can't you just let, people... Why can't the movie just have a funny little silly side plot? And me and my friend are so pissed off about that movie because it got such good reviews. And people were like, "Oh my god, this is such a love letter to the Sonic franchise." And I was like, "Bitch, where? the movie was about the humans. I was watching it. I was like, this is the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Why am I watching a movie about a woman getting married to some guy who betrays her, who I just met like 2 seconds ago? Where's Sonic? Sonic was just fighting Knuckles for the Chaos Emerald, and now we're cutting back to this haha funny wedding side plot. I don't give a fuck about a wedding. This is the Sonic movie. Like, this movie, the FNAF movie was a love letter. The Mario movie was a love letter. The Sonic movies, I would not call those love letters. They're great. I love them a lot. They're not love letters. And I feel there's many ways they could improve the Sonic movies. But I will say, it seems like the next Sonic movie is gonna be like Sonic. Specifically Sonic Adventure 2. And it seems like we might see a little girl get gunned down in the movie. So that's kind of weird. What the fuck was I doing? Okay, so it's the guys who go in to, like, vandalize the place. It's one of those guys. He's got something I want to talk about, but I have no idea how I would look that up. FNAF movie burglars? Yes, it's this guy. It's this guy. Okay, and then FNAF Pizzeria Simulator. What is it? Midnight Motorist. Spelled that wrong. Okay, I grabbed my friend when I realized this. Look at his fucking shirt. It's Midnight Motorist! Bitch! Oh my god. See, that's a fucking love letter. He's got Midnight Motorist on his shirt! Bitch. Sonic could never. Can't wait to see the theater erupt in cheering when we see someone get gunned down in the next Sonic movie. I mean, it's funny because that's the same way we were talking about the FNAF movie. It was like me and my friends smiling as we watch a grown man get, suffer and die from a freak animatronic accident. Which is what happened. Like I said, my FNAF movie theater was so animated. Like, when he was being spring trapped, screaming like a football game. And we say, I always come back screaming. Lost my voice. That was my moment. It was everything I wanted. And I felt bad because I went with my friends and my brother was like, our theater was so fucking annoying. I couldn't hear anything. And yeah, my theater was just yapping. It was like teenagers who just like were very excited about it, and I get it, but they're just yapping. But I was okay with it because they were so hyped, and that's the energy I wanted. But anyway, yeah, that's a detail that I haven't really seen people freaking out about. When I saw that in the theater, I was like, no fucking way! Anyway. Does this work? This slide? I'm not gonna play that too much because I will get copyrighted. But thank you so much for attending my FNAF 101 beginner course. I had a lot of fun. I'm not done. I'm just thanking you for stopping by. I'm so proud of my PowerPoint. I really like how it turned out. I was so happy with the reception I got from my friends. They were so engaged and asking questions. And it meant a lot to me, you know? Like, I may have gone deaf there for a sec. Was that really loud? I'm sorry. Yeah, like, for my friends to be willing to sit there and listen to something they don't care about, and especially with horror. I know most people don't like horror, but they were willing to let me talk my shit. I hope you don't get annoyed by my incessant questioning. Of course not. That's what this is for. Yeah, sorry. I didn't realize it was going to be so loud. When I showed this to my friends, this audio didn't work, so I expected it not to work. Sorry. It's almost 3 hours we've been doing this. That was so much fun. We could talk about other little things. We could look at FNAF World for a second. Okay, well, I'll explain. So, FNAF World, after FNAF 4, this image came out, and we didn't really know what to make of this. It kind of felt like Scott was done, you know? Like, it felt like a final bow, all the characters in one picture, and it just says thank you. So it's like, oh, are we done? Okay. But then, over the course of like a week maybe, this image transformed into this image. I wonder if anyone has the GIF. Someone made a GIF of this image transforming into this one. But yeah, it was over the course of like, I think a week or like a while. But periodically people were just, oh, you can kind of see it in this picture. Periodically people were just checking in on this picture, and they noticed that some of the animatronics were replaced with like little cartoony guys, and they're like, what? And so the picture just over the course of a few weeks just transformed into this, and it was a grand reveal of FNAF World, and we were like, what the fuck is that? You know what, we can watch the trailer for that one, because that one's really funny. Let me get my headphones back on. Oh damn, he took it down. Scott Cawthon has just his own YouTube channel, but I guess he just took down the FNAF World trailer. Damn. But this was it. So Gobi. together and I freaked out when this trailer dropped. Eight years ago, how the hell is Matt Pat gonna do this one? Oh look, there's me. Haha. Yeah, so FNAF World, I think, I don't know, looking back, I never played it, full transparency, and I never watched any content of people playing it. Looking back, I think it's fine. You know, it's its own thing. But I think what happened was that it was just such a right-hand turn after so many games of scariness, you know? Just straight horror. And then this was like a cute game. So I think people saw that and were like, what the fuck is this? This is not what I want from my Freddy Fazbear Five Nights at Freddy's. Where's my scary? Where's my lore? Where's my bite of 87? What is this cute bullshit? Oh, and yeah, and there were a lot of bugs in this game. Well, that's funny. Maybe that was foreshadowing for Security Breach. But, oh my god, this gif. Precious. Love you. But also, there was a really weird thing with this. I told this to my friend once, because I was like, did the 8-hour lore video ever talk about Mangle hanging themselves? And my friend was like, what? For no goddamn reason. On Scott's website, there was just a picture of seemingly Mangle hanging from a noose. What does it say? There's something on the bottom. I forget what it says. You can't really see it. See what you've all done. Bitch? Hello? What? But anyway, just look at the little ping pong ball. I think I have a better gif of that, actually. Yeah, I have a better one. There they go. I'll also say about Mangle right now. So, while... oh, and I saw someone's comment before while I was in the bathroom. They said, like, so the bite of 83 was never, like... It was something like, so the bite of 83 was never mentioned like the bite of 87 was in the game. No. The bite of 87 is the only one that's ever, like, referenced. Nobody says the bite of 83 in any of the games. But I wanted to say that, excuse me, the community kind of agrees that Mangle is the one that's responsible for the bite of 87. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the check you get at the end of the game is dated 87. And the check is made out to someone named Jeremy Fitzgerald. So I believe the common headcanon, I guess, or the common assumption, rather, is that Mangle is the one that bit Jeremy Fitzgerald on their head. And you can see I should probably specify because I'm gonna get some NSFW shit. You fucking freaks. Safe blurring is on. Jesus Christ. Let me see. Yeah, so you can kind of see in this GIF it appears like Mangle is going for the top of your head. Whereas the rest of them just kind of jump at you. And I think there's more evidence about Mangle being the perpetrator, but that's kind of the assumption. And I was talking to my friend recently, and I was like, oh my god, looking back, it's so fucking obvious that FNAF 2 would be where the Bite of 87 takes place because of the check. But also, like, that game is a prequel, and the tapes or the phone messages in that game, the phone guy is so like freaked out. He's like, oh my god, somebody used one of the suits. Well, then he says somebody used one of the suits, the yellow one, which is where Golden Freddy and everything gets all confused. I don't know if we ever really had a clear explanation because, you know, until FNAF 4, it seemed like Golden Freddy was like the guy, like the one. Anyway, I kind of went ADHD mode in there and went like 30 different directions. But yeah, I think FNAF 2 is definitely the Bite of 87. Like, you never see it, but I think it's pretty clear that, like, that's what that was supposed to be. Like, this is like the origin of everything. And then, you know, like I was saying before, Scott just loves the idea of being able to keep something out of reach. So he never specifically talks about the Bite of 87. Because I think if he ever did, maybe people would feel like they could stop paying attention because they would finally have the answer, you know? So he's never ever gonna like directly say what anything is. Maybe in Matt Pat's goodbye video where he like went to FNAF heaven and Scott was there. Maybe he finally fucking told him everything. I'm stretching my thumbs. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna check something. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably gonna start wrapping up soon. Because I'm getting sleepy. I do have a folder. Here, let me turn this off for a second. Hi! Looks like I turned the monitor off. I did have a collection of like FNAF TikToks that I saved. And I didn't get to share them with my friends, but I can share them with you. Let's turn the monitor back on. Ah, that's so cute. Alright, let's see what we get. This is just classic. This is the current meme.
O cholera, czy to Freddy Fazbear? Oh, 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 oh.
Anytime me and my friends see each other, we just go, arr, 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 arr. What is this one?
Guys? Is this Freddy Fazbear? Arr, 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 arr,
Oh my god. He's, what are we hitting the Gwitty? Freddy Fazbear, what are we hitting the Gwitty right now?
Trying the new Grimace milkshake from McDonald's. Happy birthday.
Oh shit. Oh my god. Here, can I make this bigger? Yeah, there we go.
Guys?
Oh, guys? Is this Freddy Fazbear? I probably shouldn't play this. I love this one.
Hey guys, it's Freddy.
Oh no, that's BTS. Will definitely get taken down. Of course.
Michael, don't leave me here. Michael, help me.
Amazing. I love this one.
Is this not Freddy Fazbear? I thought Freddy Fazbear was scary. This is not scary. That's a homosexual.
She's right, and she should say it. This was a thing for a while.
Freddy, you're supposed to be on lockdown.
Vanessa.
This was... There were a lot of people who worked on the FNAF movie just posting behind the scenes stuff on TikTok. Is that? A new FNAF movie being filmed? This one's my favorite!
Oh my god, we're at Fast Freddy's Fart Hole something or other.
I think about that all day long. All day long in my head I go, oh my god, we're at Fast Freddy's Fart Hole something or other.
Okay, so this is Freddy, this is Chica, this is
me telling the FNAF lore to my friends.
Now, you and I both know for a fact that there's gonna be crying babies at the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. But I'm still going! I'm gonna watch this movie 18 times. If any Hollywood producers are watching this, I will do anything to go to that premiere. I'll work security. And if anyone tries to bring in their crying child, call me William Afton, because there's gonna be some missing children.
Me. Why is bro walking like that?
Okay, so I love Five Nights at Freddy's, but there's no good merch, so like, what am I supposed to wear to the movie premiere? Like,
it says mental illness. It's a picture of Freddy Fazbear.
I was gonna go to class before I got high. Come on, y'all. Check it out. I could have cheated and I could have passed, but I got high.
Yeah, because in the first poster they had red eyes, or it was like, yo.
What if it was purple? Up first we have... Let's see it purple.
Yeah! The caption on that one was just, do you get it? Because he's purple.
Hey, do you mind if I just play some background noise? I have a really hard time falling asleep without it. I won't be loud, I promise. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. Thanks. Good night.
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome to Five Nights at...
Me, bitch. This one.
We'll take a 5-minute recess without objection. Well, then y'all better focus, because who cut...
Me. I'm just gonna play this one. I love it.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where fantasy and fun come to life.
Hi.
I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to make it hurt.
I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch.
This is where your story ends.
There is more going on here than you realize.
Yeah. Take me down, YouTube. I love that one. This one's me.
Do not cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
Me. This one's cute. This one.
As I was telling you, the difference
Dude, this
between
class is
sport
so
and
boring.
celebration
Yo,
and
Miss G, can we learn
celebration.
about something else?
Actually, Sam, there is something I haven't told you yet. The bite of 87. There are 4 suspects for the bite of 87. Those people are Freddy.
No, they're not, Mrs. G. Ugh, you don't even know. Oh my god, this is when the submarine happened. It says my mom says she found recordings from the subs. And with all seriousness, shows me a TikTok with this audio.
Michael! Don't leave me here! Michael! Michael!
Oh my god. What was this?
Sorry, I'm Freddy Fazbear. You see, I had a dream last night that I was Freddy Fazbear and I fucked a guy's ass.
Okay. Speak your truth. This one is me!
I'll say this. It's rare, okay, for a movie to be made for the target audience, for the fans. And Five Nights at Freddy's is doing it! It's doing it so well! The employee of the month back there, they're all FNAF YouTubers. You know, amen. Amen. I love when a movie knows who's going to be sitting in theaters. A lot of movies don't know for some reason, or they don't want to do the research into who's going to be. Yes!
Period. She's right, and she should say it. And you know what? I will play this video. This is... My friend sent me this. This is called Springtrap Fucks the Ever-Living Shit Out of You ASMR.
It is time. I will make you come.
Oh my god. Okay. That's everything I got in my arsenal. Alright, I think I'm probably gonna start packing up for tonight. It's been 3 hours. Look at us. Hey, look at us. Who would have thought? Not me. Ugh. Take my headphones off. Okay. Check on my dog. Okay, well, I think thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. This was a lot of fun. I fully was expecting, excuse me, not a lot of people to show up, if anybody, because I know I'm not very active on YouTube anymore. So thanks y'all for showing up and engaging with me and asking questions and such. And thank you so much to the person who donated. Like I said earlier, streaming isn't really my thing, so I'm not making any kinds of false promises about, I might stream more in the future. Maybe I'll stream some more. Or follow me on Twitter so you can see when I'm streaming. No, I'm not gonna do that. I just do my own thing these days. I think I'm gonna continue on the FNAF anime project. No promises though, but I think that could be fun. And plus I need something to do now until September, because I got into grad school, but the semester doesn't start till September, so I gotta wait a while. So I might do that. We'll see. But you can follow me other places if you want. You can follow me on Twitter. Right now, though, my Twitter is a lot of like social justice stuff. I've been retweeting a bunch of things about Palestine and Congo, so you won't really find a lot of my original thoughts and feelings on my Twitter right now. Right now, my Twitter is a platform for spreading useful information. Oh my god, :3. Oh my god, I see you, Beach. You just missed my amazing presentation. But you can watch the VOD. You can follow my tickety talk. I think if you can just go to my channel's like main page, and I have my, I know your whole government name is on there. Raw dogging that shit, bro. My socials are on my main page, and you can find my tiki talk on there. But yeah, I just kind of do my own thing these days, and I'm super happy. So I am sorry that I don't really post much anymore, and I have a tendency of just dropping off the face of the earth in terms of my YouTube channel. But I'm also not sorry, because I'm just doing what's best for me. And this was just something I wanted to do, especially because I was home alone tonight, so I didn't really have anything to do. And because I was home alone, I could be as loud and stupid as I want. But yeah, right now my journey is just chilling, working at my part-time job, trying to save up as much money as I can for grad school. And then I'm gonna go to grad school, and I'm gonna fucking get my master's, and I'm gonna meet all kinds of people, and I'm gonna make freaking TV shows and movies. And I guess I'll have my own characters to info dump about someday. I can show you a bunch of characters and be like, I drew that guy. That guy's my guy. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's holds such a special place in my heart, and I'm very amazed that it's more popular than ever. It's very cool to see, because I think it did fall off for a minute there, especially by the time Pizzeria Simulator came out. Everybody was kind of checked out. And then it just decided, like your boy William Afton, I always come back. FNAF decided she was not dead. And she said, you know what? You bitches aren't done talking about me. And now we've got new memes, the new movie, more movies in the works, and I don't think I'll ever be able to completely fathom that we are in the timeline where Josh Hutcherson plays Mike Schmidt in the FNAF movie and Matthew Lillard plays William Afton in the FNAF movie. That is not only such perfect casting, but just that sentence does not sound real. And the fact that the FNAF movie happens at all. I think I remember the last time I streamed about FNAF when I was doing like my security breach info dump session. We were talking about the movie and I was like, fucking whatever. The movie's gonna be stupid and whatever and who cares. This movie was so good. Like, I will not hear otherwise. It was just, it's like I said before, it was a love letter. There was so much love and care and detail and attention that went into it. And that's very special to see. So yeah, I have no idea where Five Nights at Freddy's is going at this point. I don't think Five Nights at Freddy's knows where she's going at this point. But we're along for the motherfucking ride. And I do one day want to get a Freddy tattoo. Something FNAF. I don't know what I would get. Probably just like Freddy's head. Or like some sort of cool artistic rendering. I am getting a tattoo next week. I'm getting Sylveon. I'm super excited about that. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Alright, well, once again, thank you all so much for joining me for this very special occasion. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for allowing me to express myself and be silly. And I don't know. I hope you have a good one. It's Friday for me. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope you're chilling. I hope you're kind to people. And I hope you're kind to yourself. And like I was talking about in the beginning of the stream, I was in a completely different place the last time I streamed. And now I am on a path of just following my dreams. I made one of my biggest dreams come true. I'm just living my truth. And I'm doing really great. This is the happiest I've ever been in my life. So, I encourage you to follow whatever you've got going on. Listen to yourself. If there's something you really want that you've been ignoring, why don't you listen to yourself? And figure out what you want to be doing. Alright, I'll get ski-daddling for tonight. Thanks again so much for joining me. What's something funny I can say? And don't forget, it's just a theory.